Did you know companies are expected to spend $1.5 billion in ad revenue through podcasts by 2023? That's right. Podcasting is the future and we're still very early. The tech is better than ever and the barrier to entry is lower than ever. That's why I created my No Bullshit Guide Podcasting for Beginners ebook to help you get started. Visit blackisnewrich.com to get yours.
My sister and I were just talking about it actually today, and your mind can do so many things. Like your mind can literally drive you into depression or it can drive you into greatness.
Welcome back to another episode of Black is New Rich podcast. I'm your host, Corey Cash, and today we got a very special guest. She is a visionary making noise in the city with all her work, and I respect it from a distance. I see what she's doing in the city, and we're going to get into what she does and how she does it, but I don't want to keep talking. Can you introduce yourself, please?
Yes. My name is Keesa K. I'm the founder of HoopQueens. HoopQueens is a nonprofit organization that provides safe spaces for female basketball players of all ages, elementary school, high school, university, and girls who are looking for opportunities to go pro.
Okay, dope. So before we get into what HoopQueens exactly is and all the parts to it, the moving parts to it, let's bring it back a little bit. How did you even get to this point?
Well, when I was an athlete, I played ball all my life. Yeah, and I played ball all my life. I was from the East, from Scarborough. So I born in Scarborough, raised in Markham. For all everybody who wants to like fight me. And then I actually got recruited to play in the West. So for YACE, those of you who don't know, YACE, one of the best, I think, organizations to play for. And then I got a scholarship out East to play in PEI. That was for college, and then I went to university. And then here we are here. Okay. So yeah, that's a little bit of background.
So did you get like a corporate job out of school, or how did that work?
Honestly, I've been literally working since I was 13 years old. Like Nando's was my first job. I've been working all my life, and I got into, so when I was in school, I got into the stream of business, finance. I always loved like graphic design, but my mentor was kind of saying, hey, like, business would be like more of a money making thing, and you get to actually like experience like what business is and how to do business. So. Yeah. Okay,
dope. So tell me about the transition from leaving your job to becoming an entrepreneur full time. And when did you do that?
Yes. So 2020, we started in 2020 we started HoopQueens, and I was working full time. I graduated in 2019. Yeah. Hold on, we're gonna restart that.
Yeah. Take your time.
Woo! Okay. So yeah, in 2019, I graduated school. I graduated with my business finance degree, and then I was working full time at a bookkeeping company. Bookkeeping for lawyers, and then I loved it. It wasn't bad or anything like that. I love numbers, but I don't think it was my passion. True. Basketball was like always been my passion. I grew up playing it, obviously. And then so 2022 comes around and the summer leagues happens, and I decided to quit my job because this is my full time like love and passion, and I think that I can do it on my own. So I made that jump June 2022.
Okay, dope. So do you think that you could have held your full time and did this at the same time, or it was just too much time? Hey everyone, I hope you're enjoying this episode. Please remember to subscribe, comment, and like. Black is the New Rich.
I definitely could have done it for a couple more months, but I think just mentally and like emotionally and just getting burnt out, I probably would have got burnt out like way earlier. If I kept the two, I think around the summer league was kind of like, I really had to pick. Like I had to pick either going to meetings for the summer league and like landing those sponsorships and stuff like that, or going to my full-time job. And I feel like my full-time job, where they're asking for more and like asking me to come back in the office and stuff like that. So I couldn't really balance it. And also like waking up early, like the grind was like my literally for like the last 2 years was 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. writing grants, doing stuff for HoopQueens, and then I had to get ready for work, go to my 9 to 5. Jeez. And then 2 hours after work, I would come back, do my meetings for HoopQueens for another 2 hours. So that would be like from like 6 to like 8. And then like my evening would be kind of like, okay, and I have to go to sleep because I have to wake up for 5 a.m.
Yeah.
So that's what I was doing for about 2 years.
Jeez. So what type of advice do you have for someone like when they should like let go of their job? Because that's a tricky one.
I know.
Because there's money, bills, and all that stuff.
Yeah, because it's the stability, right? Like everyone is so fearful of that jump of like of fear of jumping into that unknown, right? I think Lauren Hill, like she said, there's times when there's times when you have your learning moments and you have your mastering moments, and it's sometimes people say that, oh, okay, like, you're jumping into this unknown of like what's gonna happen, but your lows are also like learning moments.
100%.
So yeah, I would just say like when it's the time. I planned from the start of this year. I was like, okay, how do I exit my full-time job?
So you had an exit strategy.
I kind of did. I kind of did.
Yeah.
From January, I was like, okay, I'm gonna quit my job by the end of 2023. That was my goal. But as things started to aggressively unfold and just, like all these opportunities start to come, I was like, okay, I gotta quit it. Like I gotta quit my job. And then after the summer league ended, I sat down with my accountant and a couple of signs. I was kind of just asking God for some signs about like, okay, what should I do? How do I manage all this stress, this anxiety? Like how do I do this? And then I received a grant from Foot Locker. And that was my last sign. I was like, you know what? I wrote this grant back in January, and
it came at just on time.
Right. And I was asking for all these signs, and I was like, okay, you know what? If it's financials that I'm worried about, I know that I can at least get money. I'm a hustler. Like I know how to write grants. I know how to do these things. I know how to make money. So why am I doubting myself, kind of thing? So yeah, that was the last sign. And I was like, you know what? Like,
it's time to pack it up.
It's time to do it. Like you like bet on yourself, kind of thing. Like Fred VanVleet said, like you got to bet on yourself and you'll figure it out. And that's what I've learned along the way. It's been 4 months now and I'm literally figuring it out.
Jeez,
so
100%. Dope. So let's talk about HoopQueens. So the headlines that I've seen in the summer was there's just women's summer basketball league and the players were getting paid. Like that headlines was everywhere.
Yes.
Let's talk about everything about HoopQueens and exactly what it is and how it came to this point.
Yeah. So HoopQueens, it started in 2020. Let's actually go back to 2019. So 2019, I graduated, like I said, and I was looking to obviously I just paid 4 years of school for my business degree.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, how do I start a business? I was just going back and forth of just figuring out how do I start a business, and I literally could not do it. And then obviously I took a break of just trying to create a business. And someone asked me to coach basketball, and I said no. I said, I don't really want to do it right now. I want to be able to stack my money up. Like I just played basketball. Like I've played basketball all my life now. I need to start gathering some skills and getting money and stuff. Someone asked me to coach, and I said no. And then eventually they asked me again, and I said, okay, fine, I'll try it out, whatever. I tried it. I loved it. I started mentoring some girls. And then COVID hit. So 2020, they were asking me for some gym time, some how to train and how to keep in shape and stuff like that. And as their big sis / mentor, I was like, okay, I'm going to try to find a way for you guys. And then I was like, okay, COVID, there's no gym. I need to get back in shape.
Yeah.
Let's run. Let's do some scrimmages together, and let's kind of I'll try to teach you the game while I'm playing as well, right?
Yeah.
That's what my mentor did with me when I was younger, and I learned the game from him. So so basically COVID hit, and some of the girls that I graduated with, I asked them to come and play against the young girls, and then we added some cameras in, and it kind of just went viral. It literally just went viral, and I was like, you know what? This is going to be my business. And timing obviously matters as well. It was just the right time. And then I was like, yeah, let me figure it out. How do I brand this? How do I make this a business? And ever since 2020, we've been just building every year how to make it better.
Okay. So. Wow. So what was the thought process on like getting these girls paid? Because the men don't even get paid, except for the CBL, but the men don't even get paid for these type of leagues. Hey everyone, I hope you're enjoying this episode. Please remember to subscribe, comment, and like. Black is the new rich.
No, honestly, I said to myself from the day I started, I wanted to make it different. I wanted to make it unique. something that is innovative and something that it's never been done before. To that level. Even our scrimmages and our runs, I wanted to make it like viral. I wanted to make it like something that it's a dope experience that girls, fans, anybody who comes to watch and is a part of this environment, they think this is different. Like it's a different type of energy. So ever since then, so 2020 we did the runs, and then 2021 I challenged myself to do tournaments. I was like, so I failed that course in school. I was like, no, I'm not doing any tournaments because they some of the girls asked me to do a tournament, and I said, no, guys, like we're just gonna stick to the runs. And then I challenged myself. I was like, you know what? Like I can do it, you know? Yeah. So I asked some of my mentors to kind of help me out, figure out how to run a tournament. I did it. And then I also wanted to give a scholarship away just because like giving back is like my number one thing, right? So we gave a $5,000 scholarship to a young girl. School's very expensive.
Jeez, that's big. Yeah.
Thank you. And then this year, like they asked me, hey, like, okay, we love the tournament. How do we do something? Yeah, how do we do something like a league? I said no. Like again, I was like, no, I don't want to do a league because one, like girls are, they're not going to be committed enough for a long time. It's summertime, people want to go to barbecues, people want to do their hair, want to chill with your friends, all that other stuff, right? So I was like, no. And I said, if I put myself in their position, what would make me want to come back and
like an
keep
incentive.
Playing? Right. An incentive to like keep playing every week to come back. They're not going to do it for free. So I said, hey, everyone loves money. Like everyone wants to be paid to show up to do something or get some nice gear or something like that. So let me figure out a way to get that incentive for them to play. So
smart.
Yeah.
And that's how it came about.
Literally. And so in January I got the idea. I remember it was like January 11th, just to be exact, January 11th. And then I was like, I asked them, the players, okay, would you be committed if we try to do this, I got a little bit of like what a roster would look like, just a rough one. And then I said, okay, cool, let's try to get some money. And then we came up with the budget of $200. I said,
per game?
No, yeah, so yeah, per game,
that's
per player.
Good.
Yeah,
that's
good. The fastest $200 you'll ever make in your life. So I said $200. Gas prices were crazy, still are. So I said $50 to get to the gym, $50 to get back, and like throughout the week you're training, whatever. And I said, okay, well, how do they like at least pay for trainers, or how do they pay for like physio and stuff like? So I was like, okay, another $100. That's where our minimum like $200 came about, and that's literally where I got the compensation.
Okay, so, wow, dope. Yeah. So explain to me the business strategy like moving forward now. Right.
So now I'll talk about the business strategy going into to HoopQueens first. Yeah. So the summer league, I was like, okay, we're gonna do this, and we're gonna obviously make history and break grounds and wake up some people and ruffle some feathers. So I said for this year, we'll keep the budget tight, and we'll for sure, our goal is to pay these players. Like that's the only thing we got to do. We got to pay the players, and we got to make sure it looks nice. Yeah. So the business strategy for this year coming in, I was like, we got to make sure that this is a fruitful product, and it will be for next year. People will want to be sponsoring it, giving money and investing. They'll at least see like, hey, like they've done it with this much, going. Right? Yeah. They've done it with this much resources. Okay, now how do we, we have so many resources. How can we add to it, kind of thing? So I kind of set it up in a way where this first year one, we got to we built our foundation, and then how do we now add every year to it?
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay, so where are you at? Can you even talk about it? Where are you at right now, and where do you plan to go?
For right now, we're just going to continue to create like an opportunity for girls to get paid. You know, just keep building on that, keep expanding. Whether it's teams, whether it's higher pay, just giving more opportunities around the league and providing that representation at all levels. So like playing, scorekeeping, officiating, being vendors, just having that all around like workshops and stuff like that, having that all around ecosystem for the girls. So.
Okay. So let's talk about grants and sponsorships.
Yes.
How do you get them? How do you get them and like where do you look for them and what have you done so far with them?
So it was very, very difficult. That was one of my barriers at first. I was like, how do I, keep this thing going? How do I get these resources to fund all the projects and ideas that I have? Because I know it's so difficult. One, being a Black woman, two, being just a Black person in the space of like, how do I get funding? So, one, I would say just relationships. One of the biggest things that I've learned throughout this whole year is relationships. And how do you maintain those? How do you find those? You network, right? Your network is your net worth, literally. Like when they say that, I really understand that now because those relationships throughout your journey will help you get to your next level. For me, I met a young woman named Olivia Ho. I met her on an Adidas set of last year. And, obviously just passing and stuff like that. It was good. We had each other on Instagram, all that other stuff. And then she had an idea that it was very similar with what I had planned for HoopQueens in the future. And then I called her up. I was like, hey, I love your idea that we're going to work on. But I think right now a summer league that's paid would like kind of help lodge the idea that we were kind of cooking up together.
Oh, yeah.
And then she was just like, you know what? I know this person. Shit. Yo, like, let's get on board. Let's do this together. And I was like, all right, girl, show me the way. I said, show me the way, man. And honestly, I've learned so much from her and she was so, so inspiring and just so ready to teach me how to get sponsorships, how to sell this product that I have to brands and stuff like that. Right. So now she was like, now she's just kind of kind of watching me grow and now she's like, yo, you got it kind of thing. So I would say like relationships is the biggest thing for me, getting to those rooms and stuff like that. Just literally inviting yourself into parties and networking, right? So that would be number one for sponsorships and stuff. And you never know who knows who. And then for grants and stuff like that, I literally just research. I use my network again, LinkedIn. I research online. I take about an hour a week just to kind of research, figure out. I have an Excel spreadsheet of deadlines and things, when things open, when things close. Yeah. So that every year I can look back at it and be like, okay, these are the things that I know I'm gonna apply for this year. So just putting in the work, doing the work, literally is how you get those sponsorships, how you get those things. Because if you have a project that you're really passionate about, you're gonna get it, right? So yeah.
Okay. So you mentioned going into rooms and meeting people. So now when you go out, do you have a totally different mindset?
No, not necessarily. It's just kind of my perspective has changed and I'm always unfortunately, I'm always in business mode. So I'm always trying to hey, I'm entrepreneur, HoopQueens, how can we connect? Yeah. So I'm always kind of in business mode, but I'm also I just let things happen. Yeah, I just kind of let things happen genuinely and okay, how can I help you? And it's not always how can you help me? Yeah. How can I help you? And I have gained so many skills throughout my life. Literally, I cannot name how many skills I have. The only thing I can't do is sing. But one day I'll learn. But I've learned so many skills, so I can help so many people in so many different industries, right? So I've literally I don't know before I couldn't afford how to do my hair. I learned how to do my hair. My nails, learn how to do my nails. Yeah. Learn how to do business. I didn't know how to register businesses. I learned how to do that. I can help people do that. So just different skills that I've learned because I wanted to do it, I've now acquired that. So now I can offer those services to other people. And those are like conversation starters and stuff like that.
Oh, interesting. That was actually my next question. I was going to ask you what skills you've acquired during this process. Yeah. Literally. What other business skills other than the registering your business and
business skills
have you learned that like sticks out to you, that's prominent to what you're doing every day?
I would say so two things. I would say pitching.
Yeah.
I'm still learning.
What do you mean by pitching?
So just pitching yourself, pitching your idea, pitching your passion project, whatever it is.
Is there a formula behind it? Sorry.
I haven't really figured it out, but like I will let you know when I do. I'm just kind of figuring it out as I go, to be honest. But I've learned like the art of just being genuine, just talking about, just literally putting yourself out there to talk about your passion project. So that's one thing. Sorry, can you repeat the question again?
I asked, what skills have you acquired during this process?
Right.
And you were talking about pitching.
Yeah, pitching. So pitching would be one. Another skill, what have I acquired? Oh, okay. Another skill that I've acquired is, I would say like, so a part of pitching would be like building a deck and like building those assets so that
media kits and all that.
Right. Before I always knew what to like what to put in it, but my first HoopQueens deck is not what what it is now.
Yeah.
So I've learned just how to properly like I would say properly
put together like a deck.
Yeah, probably put together a deck and like make sure my message like is clear and stuff like that. The things that I want, I'm asking for, having the confidence to ask for those things, and like, hey, what's the least they can say is no, right? So those are the type of skills like I would say pitching and creating a deck. Also, there's another skill I feel like is so important. Relationships.
Relationship building.
I guess relationship building would be another one. That's really, really important as well. I've learned obviously like relationships, like, like your Bridget or whatever, you have that, but also like in a business setting, how do you maintain those? I think
like follow-up messages.
Right. Like after you do an event, you're tired and all that other stuff, but also maintaining those relationships after the post event is really, really important. Making sure people are good throughout the event. Like those are the type of things that, keep people from like coming back and like, wanting to build a business with you. Right. So those are the type of things I feel like I've always had it. Like maybe it's adequate or something. I don't know. But yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So how are you putting out content right now? How's that working for you?
Content. So right now we're at a little bit of a standstill, but right now I'm really looking to build my team.
Okay.
So
I seen you put an ad about photographer, videographer.
Right. Like we spoke about before, I think I have a difficult time, and now I understand like, the time and the effort that goes into like editing and video, all that stuff. Because I tried to edit one myself. That didn't go well.
It's hard, right? That's time.
Yes, it's a lot of time. But yeah, no, I'm now trying to build my team so that we have the proper messaging and the type of content that I want to put out there. So yeah, we're just right now we're just kind of like in that like building stage for content and stuff like that. But for sure, we're just going to be putting out content in terms of just like our registration, like the programs that we have coming up and stuff.
Okay. And what programs do you guys have coming up?
Yeah, so we have a Junior Hoop Queens coming up. So that's cool.
During the winter?
Yeah. So how our programming is set up is our summertime is like our peak. Like that's all our, like, summer league, we have our runs, we have our tournament, scholarship, all that other stuff, all the fun stuff. And then also in the fall/winter, we do workshops, we do our Junior Hoop Queens, we do more of the high school, elementary school, elementary, high school stuff, skill development stuff, off-court workshops. We help some tournaments out and stuff like that. But yeah, so that's what we have kind of coming up throughout the fall, the winter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are those like the slower months for you? So like the strategizing months?
Right. Yeah. So that's where we take our time to really like plan and like what's happening for the next like 2 or 3 quarters, what's happening for next year, writing grants. Those are the like that's when all the grants are kind of like opening up too. So like November to January, and then like March kind of thing is when a lot of grants open up too. So we take that time to just really like kind of focus on like our foundation and building it as years go by.
Okay.
Year 2, year 3.
So during these kind of slower times, are you looking for other projects to take on, or how are you personally?
So personally, I would say I definitely, like, now that I'm an entrepreneur, looking to take on like different projects and how to try to help people like build their own passion projects, because now I feel like I've kind of gotten my my bread and butter of like how do I promote Hoop Queens, how do I build it, and now I really want to like reach back out to the community and like kind of help them build their own passion projects.
So you do you have like a grant service or a sponsorship service? What's going on?
Not yet, but like I think just like I would not yet. Definitely like a consultation. I'm starting to consult for sure, because like obviously, 1, bills have to be paid.
Yes,
2,
100%.
I also want to teach people like the value of like your knowledge and stuff like that, right? I want to be able to say, hey, like, you have a service, you have a knowledge that you can offer to people, charge people for it. You don't have to charge like $1 million, but you can charge people for it and work with their budgets and stuff like that, because you also know like, that's valuable, right? So, and it doesn't always have to come with a price. Like I can help you out service for service or something like that, right? So that's what I'm starting to build on the side outside of Hoop Queens. But for Hoop Queens, we're definitely trying to help the grassroots community and like the tournaments and stuff, and people who are like in high school, because our main target market is university and pro.
True.
Providing those opportunities and trying to create job opportunities for them, because nobody really cares about them after high school. So during our fall, winter and spring months, we're trying to now be really involved in like high school and like trying to like just do some off-court stuff, making them aware of Hoop Queens when they're younger, so that when they go to university they're already aware.
Oh, makes sense.
Of Hoop Queens, right? So doing the workshops, doing some tournaments with them and stuff like that, just doing some light stuff with high school students, making them aware early.
Okay. So I have a 2-part question. How has the support from the city been for you? Can it improve? And how can the everyday person support your movement?
So the city's been great, like amazing. I feel like they showed up, they showed out, they pulled up, man, woman, child, everybody showed up to our stuff. And I feel like the more we put out, the more programming we put out there, the more people know about Hoop Queens, know about the disparities in women's sport and stuff like that. So I feel like the city's definitely continuing to show up for Hoop Queens, for me, for just the movement, right? And then the second part of the question, what was that again?
Oh yeah, how can the everyday person support the movement like right now? Let's say.
So everyone can continue to support by showing up to our next programming, which is Junior Hoop Queens, and then we have some workshops going out, and then we also have some stuff planned for Black History Month, and then Women's Month, and then our summer league. So just continuing to show up, share, post, like our stuff, because that stuff goes a long way. That's
what I tell people too. I'm like liking, commenting, sharing, like that goes so far. They don't even know sometimes. It's just like, I wish people can stay on top of it more often, but
right. Yeah, no, I would say like even internally, like I tell people all the time, like social media is like a really great tool. It's a really bad tool sometimes, but it's a really great tool. And for business people, business owners, like your reach and your impressions, your reach, your likes, your comments, all those things are what brands would want to be able to be like, oh my gosh, their reach is how far. Like, I want to be a part of that. Like, I can't reach those people that they're reaching. So how do I partner? So a lot of the times when people don't really they see it, but they don't like it, or they don't share it. Like those are the type of things that like really like impacts a business, right? So on the back end, I would just say to people or teach people like, hey, like, it takes nothing to like or share or comment. and try to get those things up. Your impression, your reaches, and all that other stuff matters. And then you can show that to businesses of like, hey, this is what our numbers are. This is what our analytics look like.
Okay, dope. What's the biggest lesson that you've learned so far during this process?
Biggest lesson. What's for you will be for you.
What's for you will be for you. Break that down.
Yeah, it's just all in God's timing, all in the universe's timing.
Okay.
And trust that you'll figure it out. Like, trust your mind, trust your energy, trust the things that you have been through to get you through, you know? I think a year ago or 2 years ago, I was not ready for the things that I'm now stepping into. And I was so anxious. I was so like, okay, like, when is this going to come? When are they going to, when are they going to talk to me? When are they going to approach me? Like, I want to partner with this person. I want to do this. These are all my ideas. And I want it to happen right now. And I was getting so frustrated of like, okay, why don't we have funding? Why don't we have this? Why don't we have these sponsors? Yada, yada, yada. And I think that now that I realize that I'm sitting in the present and like, okay, like, things are not happening for a reason. And it's not a bad reason. It's what is the situation trying to teach you? What are the things that you need to work on to get to where you see yourself? So a lot of the times, like, now I'm kind of sitting and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, it's not a bad thing that this is not happening to me, or this is.
You just need to learn more,
right?
To why
maybe I just don't have enough knowledge right now, or don't have any experience, or don't have enough, people on my team enough to now expand, or something like that. Like, there's so many lessons in the things of why things are not happening right now, and it doesn't always have to be negative. Like, those things. Always a positive, because it then like opens up your brain to be like, okay, like, how do I start thinking further? You know? So yeah, that's my biggest lesson. Like, just staying present, and also just being patient. Like, before I was not a patient person. I wanted things to happen on my time, when I wanted it, how I wanted it. And I realized that, things will happen on God's time and the universe's time, and just let it. Patient. Yeah, just let it flow, man. Just let it flow. You can't be so controlling of the narrative of like, yes, you can control your narrative, but also your plan is already set out for you. So.
Okay. So a lot of people glamorize entrepreneurship, and we both know that sometimes it gets really ugly, gets really lonely, gets really frustrating. Yeah. How do you handle your bad days?
How do I handle my bad days? Ooh, that's a really good question. That's a really good question. I'm not too hard on myself. Like, that is the most genuine question like you could ever ask me, because I've literally, every day is a different day for me. Like, I don't know if they teach this at all or say this to people, but every day is not going to be the same day. Like, yes, you can have a routine, but like, yes, you can also have like an off day. You can also sleep in. Like, there's sometimes there's days where you don't have to be so hard on yourself just because you're not in your routine right now. Like, yes, obviously take accountability, and if it's becoming a month, or like, it's becoming a habit where you're just like, keep
slacking off.
Yeah, you're procrastinating, then obviously, you change things, but don't be so hard on yourself. Like, it's fine. No one's gonna beat you. So that's my
Okay, dope. So 2 questions that I ask everybody on the show. So the first one, I want to play it in 5 years and be like, yo, Keesa did say she was gonna do that. She did say she was gonna do that.
Yes, keep this for record.
Yeah, I'm keeping it on record.
Yes.
Where do you see yourself and HoopQueens in the next 5 years?
Okay. Where do I see myself? I see myself definitely, one, being a millionaire.
Jeez, let's go.
In 5 years, aside from the money and everything that's going on with HoopQueens, I definitely see myself raising a healthy family. I think that's one of my ultimate goals. And also, just building HoopQueens, building a team, having an actual foundation, having actual physical space for us, and also creating a job agency. One of our biggest long-term goals I wouldn't say my biggest long-term goal is to create like job opportunities.
Oh,
right.
cool.
It's so hard for athletes to balance the athletic training and all the physio, all the stuff that we go through as athletes, and then also get money and like still have money for gas to go to training or
100%.
to help their parents out. So I grew up, but I always had a job, and the job agencies that I was with, they helped me out, and they placed me out, and they placed me in great job placements to get great jobs and acquire the skills that I have now. So my idea long term is to always have a job agency for athletes.
Okay, that's a point that I've talked about a couple times on this podcast actually, because even as a former athlete myself, I do see a lot of people struggle to either make the transition to get a job because they're holding on to that legacy of their basketball career.
Yes.
Or even during it, they struggle to get a job because everything's about basketball, but they're financially dying.
Yes. And my background is finance, right? So I want to really, really teach like these athletes, boys and girls, like, hey, like you can live this dream. Cool, but you can also like manage, invest, and make sure that you're not going to play basketball forever. You can't be 90 years old playing basketball, right?
Game, young women's game.
So just to start planning and start thinking about those things about life after sport. I think with finances, it's like the first thing that they think about, like, how do we get money? Like, how do we get money after playing ball, right? How do we save our paychecks from CBL and pro and NBA and all those things, right? So I want to be able to like teach athletes how to like save and invest and manage their money. And just start thinking about like life after sport.
What do you have to say to the athlete that, I know I said a couple questions, but I have more.
I don't care. Keep going.
What do you have to say to the athlete that is having a hard time letting go of their career and maybe it's time to move on?
I think everyone will definitely make that jump at their own pace.
True.
But if you are thinking about making the jump, like make it. It's literally that simple. It's literally, you will figure it out. Like, everybody, I think, is afraid of going on to their next, I guess, level. But there is greatness in uncomfortableness.
100%.
There is greatness in uncomfortableness. And by that, I mean, like, you don't know what's happening next, but you will figure it out. And everyone has the ability to be a genius and figure out what their own passion is, right?
I agree. Because what I think also, too, is when athletes make the transition, if they could pay attention to their old ego and try to kill that, then I feel like the transition will be easier, because if everyone that plays after high school was a star at some point in their life, but that ego doesn't transition into your next business life right away. Right.
I think a lot of the times athletes are afraid to start from scratch kind of thing. Like, I think they think that they're starting from scratch, but they don't realize that the skills that they've acquired through sport
take you through life.
One, and like, you will be the top employee or the top entrepreneur because you have those skills of discipline, consistency, time management. Like, those are the type of skills like bosses and people look for.
Exactly.
Even in job agencies, like they ask for student athletes. They ask for people who are athletes because they're self-motivated.
100%.
They can time manage. They are disciplined. They're consistent. Like, those are the type of
players.
Right. They're able to manage personalities and things like that. So I think people don't realize how many skills they have until they get out of sport. So I would say to the average athlete that's kind of like just maybe in the between of like quitting sport or like kind of retiring or hanging it up, I would say just try different things, try different skills, and you don't have to like completely hang it up. But maybe start thinking about it, start to get to know yourself outside of sport, like what things you like, what things you're good at. And then once you know what you're good at, you know yourself outside of being an athlete, or it doesn't have to do with sports, what you like to do on a regular basis, then you'll know, like, okay, 100%. Let's hang it up now.
Okay. Last question. What is the best advice?
What? It was time. Oh my gosh, that was No, ask me more. I'm trying to get, some clips of the content.
All right. So, okay. I do have other questions.
No, come on.
All right.
Come on, we got this. Listen, I came from long drive, okay?
All right,
long drive.
All right, cool. So let's talk about the student athlete. So with your junior girls, are you talking about careers now, or is it too early, or is it just sport?
No, I mean, I feel like subconsciously we kind of are. Yeah. But like our junior hoop queens is from ages 4 to 12. So that 13, 11 to 13 age, like that is really, really important. And I feel like talking to them more so about like their future and like what they want to do outside of sport, figuring out what they like, what subjects they're into. Those are the type of things that we talk about like in Junior Hoop Queens, but it's not so like, okay, job oriented, because they don't really need money at like 11 years old.
Yeah,
I mean, they want to like probably buy some games and like different things.
It's a little bit premature for that.
Right. But we more so like focus it on like just like self-awareness and like and like building that confidence and stuff like big. That. So that's a really big thing for that age, because they're going into high school as well. Not so much of like not so much of like how to make money and stuff like that. I think that talk starts in like high school. So we do talk about like in workshops and stuff, we talk about like they know about credit card, like they have so much access to things, right? So it's a lot younger that we start talking about credit and like how to plan, how to save, how to invest. And they see it on Instagram and TikTok and stuff like that. So those conversations that we have in the workshops for the high schools, we do start to talk about, not too heavy or not too in deep about like mortgages and stuff. But a lot of the generation now, they want to talk about like entrepreneurship and how to make money. Like they want to start their own t-shirt line or customizations, or they want to make fast money. Like these entrepreneurs, I mean these young kids, they want to be entrepreneurs. Like so.
Well, I heard I forgot what rule it's called. I don't know. Is it NIT or NIL?
NIL. Yeah.
NIL. So NIL. Explain that. The student athletes in college can make money now? Yeah.
So it's basically they can make money based off their name, likeness, their name, image, or likeness.
Okay. So jersey sales?
No. Yes. So they can. So technically they can't, but they can do it in a way where it's like their own line.
Oh, okay. And then put their name on the back or something like that.
Right. Or like a t-shirt line or a hoodie or like anything. Like, so literally you don't even have to be Instagram famous. Like you can literally just like have your own following, and people will, if you have like a coupon code or if you have like those type of things, right? So they can get paid off of those things. It's a little bit gray area for like Canadian athletes right now.
Okay.
just because like I think it's still new, and then like I think just tax laws and things like that.
True.
But I'm still figuring it out too, as I have people within Hoop Queens that like want nil deals, and then I also have like companies that want to give nil deals. So just trying to figure that gray area out. Talking to legal and stuff like that too. So
okay, and tell me like where, like for example, like I know with the guys with the men's sports, like in high school to college, everyone's going D1 now. Like in my day, like a couple people went D1. Yeah. But now everybody's going D1. How's it for the females?
I feel like there's still probably the same amount of like girls like going D1 and stuff, but I think the D1 dream has become so prominent that girls get so like fascinated on or fixated on going D1, and they don't really realize the other parts of like being a student athlete, like what you're going to school for, like like your major.
It's just basketball,
it's just basketball, right? And a lot of the times, like if you speak to a lot of the girls like graduating or girls who transferred from D1 into U Sport, or they just drop out of D1, they don't have good experiences.
Why?
I like number of reasons. Like just a number of reasons. They have either good like bad basketball experiences or bad school experiences, true. Or they're also, it's like they're going into like another country, and like that maybe they weren't raised to like network and like make friends and stuff like that, because it's a new environment, right?
Different culture too,
right? And in Canada, you're like like, yeah, you have a team and you're playing against players, but you see, you know, the basketball community, like you've seen that person, you played against them, you know them, they're your age, or your age up or whatever it is. Like they kind of know everybody. And whereas you're going to a different country, it's like, you don't know nobody.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
And it could be like a frightening experience. Right. So I think a lot of the girls are so fixated on, you know, going D1 and they don't realize like, okay, well, I can go D1 or either sit on the bench and have a bad experience, or I can play in U Sport and also like be the best U Sport player in Canada, right? Yeah, so I'm one of my goals is to definitely change the perspective and like the mentality of like just going to U Sport school, because we do have great U Sport school, Ryerson, U of T, Concordia. We have all of them, Ottawa, Carleton. You know, those are the top schools, and I don't know why people don't like consider them like or consider going there, right? So,
well, it's the hype too.
Yeah, I know. I think it's the hype of just saying, "Hey, I went D1."
D1, exactly.
But I mean, it's like, hey, like a lot of people say, "Oh, I went pro," and it's like people don't realize. People don't realize. Like, people don't realize like when people say they go pro, like you can go pro, but like
terrible experiences. Terrible and terrible money too. Like
terrible
not the shit.
Money, terrible experience, terrible like basketball. Like one time I was watching one of the girls, I'm not gonna say, one of the girls is like league games. I was like, what is this? This is not pro. This is like literally elementary school basketball. Like it was not good at all. Yeah. And I was like, there's no way that like people, and that was probably my first actually pro game that I watched. And I was like, oh my God, like people have been saying they go pro and this is what they're playing. Yeah. No way. But I think just people like just gaining more knowledge and having more experience and talking to more people about their experiences going D1 or overseas. Just figuring that out, man. Like it's not always what people say it is, you know?
100%. So I feel like you found your purpose very early, right?
Thank you. I think so. And I think so.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think so.
With finding your purpose comes with, you have to have a certain level of confidence, in my opinion.
Yes.
How are you continuously working on that confidence?
I think I've honestly always had confidence. Like just
where does it come from?
I don't know. I really don't know. Honestly, I feel
Leo.
like, yes, maybe Leo energy. I think when I was younger, I honestly always felt so different. Like I don't know what it is. Maybe I look different, or I feel, I talk. I don't know what it is. I always knew that I was different. And that's just not better than anybody, not anything, not to say anything about anybody, but I always felt like I was just a different person. I had a different energy. I had a different aura. Like, and I know that. Like I knew that always, like going into rooms, going on to different teams and playing for people. I always knew that I was just different. I can make people laugh. I can connect with a lot of people just naturally. And I think now that HoopQueens has kind of blown up and been this like amazing organization, I'm kind of weird. It's kind of weird because I'm confident, but I'm also very, very shy.
Is it nervous? Like,
yeah, like I'm nervous. Yeah, like I don't know, because I'm very like, I don't know. I'm very confident. Like off camera, I'm good. Like but also like just being on camera and things like getting comfortable with those things and speaking on camera and just having that confidence. I'm now like, hey, like I can literally now do anything, and I know that if I put my mind to something, I can beat it. So, the confidence is definitely like, I think also having the right mentality, your mind, like my sister and I were just talking about it actually today, and your mind can do so many things. Like your mind can literally drive you into depression, or it can drive you into greatness. 100%. Like it's just your mind, your thought process, and what you say to yourself. Like I know everyone says affirmations and manifestations and everyone talks about that stuff, but that shit is so real. Oh my gosh, can I swear?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, let it off.
that shit is so real, because it's like when I'm working out, and I mean I don't work out every day, but like I'm starting now to like work out again. I'm starting to realize like, well, my athlete self as well, like my athletic mentality was telling myself, you can do this. Next rep, you got 100%. This. Like a lot of positive like affirmations in my mind, and my body would follow, right? So now I kind of take that into like things business. Into business, and like when I'm like not feeling well or I have a bad day, I'm like, okay, like your mind can literally talk your body or yourself into having a good day. Yeah, 100%. So yeah, it's literally just your mind and what you think about yourself.
100%.
So
going back to that nervousness feeling, they do say like if your dreams don't scare you, they're not big enough.
Yes. So yes. You know what? It's so funny that you say that. It's because it's like I'm dreaming so big, and I know that I can like. I know that I can do it, and I know that the things that I have in my brain and the things that I have on my heart, I know that it's so big that it can impact so many people.
100%.
And I'm so kind of like just not nervous, but more so careful of how I
just want to get it right.
Yeah. And like, and I want to do it the right way. And of course, like, you know, everyone makes mistakes and stuff like that, but I want to, and one of my friends told me, you're like, you're not God. Like, you're not perfect. Like it never, nothing's ever going to be perfect. Yeah. So just do it. Like just like my ideas are so big that I want to be able to like do it right now and do it so perfectly, but I'm just letting it flow at this point. So like confidence and like having that, and like just having like that, okay, like just you're letting it flow, you'll figure it out. Like, you know, you're smart enough, you know, you'll figure it out, like whatever comes to you. Yeah. So
what type of setbacks have you had so far?
Setbacks?
And how have you got past them?
Setbacks. I don't think there's setbacks. I wouldn't say setbacks. I would say more so like lessons. Okay. A lot of the times, like I thought it was setbacks. I thought it was a barrier, but I thought I really like now that I'm sitting in it, and I'm full-time entrepreneur. It's just more so lessons. Like it's like, okay, this didn't happen because of a reason of, you know, like something is not blocking it, or I wouldn't say something's not blocking, but something's not like happening for a reason. So I guess one of my barriers would be funding. True. For sure. Like obviously having not enough resources to do the things that I want to do, and implement the things that I want to do. And also like building a team. Like a barrier for me is like, I'm a one-man show right now. Like, you know, and I do have people that volunteer their time. I love them to death. Shout out to them. But you know, I can't rely on volunteers all the time. Right? I want to be able to pay people. So back to funding and you know, those are the type of things. And also just like, I don't know, just being in different spaces. Just in different spaces that don't really welcome I would say welcome Black women or Black people. I guess that would kind of be a barrier. Would that be a barrier? I don't know.
How do you plan to maneuver through that?
I honestly, like for me, I am unapologetically Black. Like I am I am. All right, well, if you're uncomfortable, well, that's too bad for you, you know? But I definitely like pick up on that really easy. I don't make people uncomfortable, but I definitely do like know that, hey, that this is obviously an uncomfortable conversation, and you got to figure out why it's uncomfortable for you and not for me. So yeah. That's big.
Okay. Do you have any last words for anybody?
Last words. I would say like my advice for entrepreneurs, because I put out a post the other day, and I was saying like, how is everyone feeling, like emotionally, like physically, emotionally, like, you know, mentally, and a lot of people responded like, really? And they were really like
down or
down. Really? A lot of people. I had to literally take time, like 2-3 hours responding, because I'm not gonna just post something. Of course. And a lot of people were down, and a lot of people were down and out. So I really want to give that advice to people that like, don't be so hard on yourself, and you'll figure it out. Like life figures itself out, and don't live in the past or the future. Live in the right now, and just breathe. Like literally breathe, and you'll figure it out. You've come a long way. You've come all this way. You got the skills to figure it out. So
actually, I heard something the other day. I forgot who said it, but the person said, like if you're having a hard time, always remember that you've survived 100% of your bad days.
Yeah.
Literally.
Literally.
100%.
Literally. And sometimes, you know, like I think as humans and as just people in general, we were so hard on ourselves. Like it's not that serious. Like if you look back 2 weeks ago on your bad day or a month ago, it wasn't that serious. You know, life is too short to harp on the things that we think are so big right now. Like it's like so hard right now, but if you take some time and just step back, like you'll realize it's nothing. It's a drop in the bucket. Like you know. So okay,
dope. So what is the best advice that you've gotten? And you don't have to say any names. And what is the worst advice that you've gotten that you're like, oh no, that's terrible?
The worst advice that I've received is stay in your lane. So actually one of the males in the basketball community said, you know, stay in your lane, don't step on anybody's toes. And I remember that from the first time we started. And that was like the worst advice.
Did you have a follow-up conversation about that?
I definitely did. We definitely had a conversation. I don't really hold hate on my heart. I definitely had the conversation and I said, hey, like what do you mean by that? You know, we clarified all like that, that situation. But that was like the worst advice ever. Like, what do you mean stay in your lane? Like don't step on anybody's toes.
Who makes up these lanes?
Right. And I made up my own lane. I didn't come in anybody's lane. I made up my own lane. And stepping on anybody's toes. I don't know whose toes I would be stepping on, but hey, I got heels.
You're here.
So, and then my best advice would be What's the best advice someone that's ever given me? Know your worth.
Know your worth.
That would be like the best advice.
Elaborate on that.
I feel like that's probably the best.
That's a big one. That's a can of worms.
Definitely the best. Definitely the best.
Yeah.
The advice anybody's ever. Actually, shout out to Ebone. So he's like the first person that kind of like, Ebone like talks. I don't know if you know Ebone, but he just talks, just says a lot of words sometimes. And he motivates people. He does. That's Monday motivate. Motivations. So he does that podcast and stuff like that. So, like he always kind of instilled that. But I was like, Ebone, like okay, whatever. But over time, this past year, I really realized like what he was saying and like, you gotta know your worth. You gotta know like these people, they don't know who you are. Like you gotta be able to like say, what you've done, who you've done, like what you've done, how you've done it. Like those are the type of things that like you're so good at, you're so skilled, and like don't think of yourself as like this small fish. Yeah, like exactly. He really, really like instills literally every week. We have a phone call and he's always instilling like, you gotta know your worth. You gotta like, 100%. You're a big fish in this game. Like you don't think about for a second like that these people don't know who you are, and those people don't know like how impactful you are. And the ideas that are in my brain and on my heart and on my chest will move the needle and grow the game. So yeah, that's like the best advice I would say. Know my worth, man. Like I'm starting to step into that and lean into that. Just have that confidence of like knowing your worth and walking with my head and my eyes and everything, my body language, chest up and the crown fixed, and, kind of thing. So and then I really want to pour back into other women and other people about just knowing your worth.
Okay. Let everybody know where they can find you and how they can contact you.
So you can find me personally, Keesa.K on Instagram. And then for our Hoop Queens, it's Hoop Queens TO, and our website is www.thehoopqueens.com. And you can find our email and phone number and all that other stuff there. Okay,
dope. Well, thank you for coming back again. For those people that don't know, we did shoot this episode prior and it messed up and it was our bad. So thank you for coming back again.
You're amazing.
Spreading your knowledge, because there's a lot in this episode. It was impactful. So thank you. Episode 34.
Amazing. Gang. We're out. Everything black on black. If I study that facts on facts.